Good morning, dear students. A warm welcome to all of you for our today's digital session for the subject Science and Technology Section A. In our previous session, we have completed with the topics of homologous series, functional group, and IUPAC nomenclature for chapter number 9, carbon compounds. Even the IUPAC nomenclature I have taught you offline. Students who are attending the school, each and every IUPAC from the table on page number 123 and textual are covered. Once again today we will take up IUPAC nomenclature as a part of revision, and then we will complete the chapter by completing the topic of chemical properties of carbon compounds. So let us start with the revision part of IUPAC nomenclature. IUPAC, as I have told you, it is related to the Chemistry, International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. So let us begin with the IUPAC nomenclature. For giving the systematic names to the organic compounds, is this IUPAC, or what is the full form of IUPAC? International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. Last year in the 9th standard, I had told you in section A, whatever inventions are done in chemistry, it should be accepted by the IUPAC to become an authentic information for chemistry. Now, according to this IUPAC system of naming or nomenclature, all the organic compounds, they are considered as the derivatives of saturated hydrocarbons and are known as alkanes. All the organic compounds, they are considered as the derivatives of saturated hydrocarbons and they are known as alkanes. And to express the name of the compound and the basic carbon chain is modified by root. What does a root indicate? It indicates the nature of basic carbon skeleton. Now, how does this nomenclature system work? There are 3 units in the IUPAC name of any carbon compound: parent, suffix, and prefix. Now let us see the different steps which have to be followed while naming any carbon compound. So the first step is draw the structural formula of the straight chain compound and count the number of carbon atoms in it. It is very important. Draw the structural formula and you have to count the number of carbon atoms which are present in it. The alkane with the same number of carbon atoms is the parent alkane. Suppose you have 1 carbon atom, then you know it is methane. Suppose you have 3 carbon atoms, you know it is propane. So the alkane with the same number of carbon atoms is the parent alkane of the concerned compound. You have to write the name of this alkane. See, directly do not go for the final name. Follow the steps. Now you have to write the name of the parent alkane with the pencil. In case the carbon chain of the concerned compound contains a double bond. Suppose the carbon chain of the compound which you are naming, it has carbon to carbon double bond, then the parent name which is ending with ane, that ane you have to change to ene, that is ene. Suppose in not methane, you take propane. In one of the carbon you find double bond, then instead of writing propane you will write propene. From ane it will become ene. Similarly, if the carbon chain in the concerned compound, it contains a triple bond, then you change the parent name from ane to yne, ine, that is propine, ethyne, butyl. So first step I think you have understood. Count the number of carbon atoms. Derive the parent alkane. If there is a single bond, then you will keep ane, methane, propane. If there is a carbon-carbon double or triple bond, then you are going to end the parent name with either ene or ine accordingly. The second step is, here you can see an example chart I have placed. Structural formula: CH3, single bond CH2, single bond CH3. How many number of carbon atoms are there? 3. Everywhere you see there is a single bond. So 3 carbon atoms means propane. 1 carbon atom means methane. You know it is the smallest hydrocarbon. 2 carbon atoms ethane. 3 carbon atoms propane. 4 carbon atoms butane. So you should know this very properly. So you can see in the first case 3 carbon atoms are there. So propane, because everywhere you can see a single bond. Here C is twice with a single bond. So 2C means ethane. CH3 single bond CH2 COOH. So 3C you can see with a single bond everywhere. So again parent name is propane. Here you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 carbon atoms are there. So the parent name is butane, because everywhere you can see a single bond. Here be careful. 3 carbon atoms means propane. But here you can see a double bond in between 2 carbon atoms. So N is changed to ENE. So propene. In the last case, again you can see 3 carbon atoms. So surely it is propane. But a triple bond is seen, so that N becomes YNE, propyne. So for the first step you have understood along with the example. Let us see what is the second step. This second step says, if the structural formula contains a functional group, replace the last letter E from the parent name by the condensed name of the functional group as the suffix. Suppose you have the parent name as methane, and you know that the structural formula is containing a functional group alcohol, that is OH. Then E from methane you are going to replace by the condensed name of the functional group, that is OH, methanol, propanol, butanol. So E is replaced by the condensed name of the functional group. Here the only exception is the condensed name of the functional group halogen is always attached before, that is as the prefix. Suffix is towards the end. So methane, E is towards the end, that is replaced by OH. But suppose it is a functional group is halogen, that is chloro, bromo, propane, then it will come towards the beginning, chlorobutane. Or you can say, which are the different halogen groups which we have seen. One was chlorine, one was bromine, one was iodine. So bromoethane or iodopropane. So it will come in the beginning and not towards the end. So always remember, when the functional group is halogen, then the condensed name will come in the beginning as the prefix. Step number 3. Number the carbon atoms in the carbon chain from one end to the other. Assign the number 1 to carbon in the functional group, that is CHO or COOH. Be very careful. If the functional group is CHO or COOH, that is carboxylic acid, then for that carbon you have to assign number 1. Otherwise the chain can be numbered in both the direction, that is 2 directions. Except that numbering which gives smaller number to the carbon carrying the functional group. In the final name, a digit, that is a number, and a character letter should be separated by a small horizontal line in between them. You can see small horizontal line over here. Similarly, you have to separate them. So you have seen the different steps which you have to follow while naming any carbon compound, any organic compound. So ahead in the chart, you will come to know the different functional groups, the parent name the suffix and the prefix for the parent. For example, the first case is CH2, single bond CH2OH. Functional group is alcohol, that is OH. Parent name is ethane. Then here you will write ethanol. For alcoholic group, remember this is very important chart. If the functional group is OH, then towards the end you are going to write OL. So ethanol, alcohol. Remember, for halogens, for chlorine it is chloro, for bromine it is bromo, for iodine it is iodo. It will come in the beginning. So chloro, ethane, bromo, ethane as the prefix. If the condensed group is CHO, you have studied today itself in the functional groups. The CHO means aldehyde. Suppose aldehyde is the functional group, then your you can say replacement will be done by the word Al. So propanal. Parent name is propane. So propanal. If it is carboxylic group, that is COOH, then the ending will be replaced. The condensed name will be OIC acid. So ethane is the parent name, ethanoic acid. Why ethane? Because 2 carbon atoms are there. Amine is the functional group. Then NH2 functional group, amine, methanamine. CO, ketone. Then it is ONE. So propane, E is replaced by ONE. Always remember, I have told you in the very beginning that all the organic compounds, they are considered as the derivatives of saturated hydrocarbons and hence they are known as alkanes. So surely you are going to label, find out the parent alkane first, whether it is ethane, whether it is methane, whether it is propane, depending on the number of carbon atoms present. Here itself you take different examples. See, in the first case, 2 carbon atoms are there. So parent name is ethane. Here also 2 carbon atoms are there, ethane. Here also 2 carbon atoms are there, ethane. 1, 2, 3. 3 carbon atoms propane. 1, 2. 2 carbon atoms ethane. Only a single carbon atom. So methane. 1, 2, 3 carbon atoms. So propane. So depending upon the carbon atoms, once you have got the name of the parent alkane, depending on the functional group, you should know what condensed name comes. If it is a halogen, then chloro or bromo will come in the beginning as the prefix. Or if it is any other functional group apart from halogen, then for alcoholic it is OL, for aldehyde it is AL, for carboxylic acid OIC acid, for amine it is amine only, for ketone it is ONE. That will come as the suffix which will replace your E. This E you can see, ethane, E is replaced by OL, ethanol. Here propane, E is replaced by AL, propanal. Ethanoic acid. Everywhere this E is replaced by the condensed name of the functional group. Now, how the number will appear, how the digit will appear. Here you can see the structural formula. 2 numberings of the carbon chain. Here this OH is attached to the C. So I will do the numbering from either here 1, 2, 3 or from here 1, 2, 3. So this OH group, this alcoholic group is attached to the second carbon atom. So how will be the name? You know now how many carbon atoms? 3. So propane. E is replaced by OL. So all. And this alcoholic group is attached to the second carbon atom. So propan 2OL. Similarly, other examples you can see ahead. Now you might be wondering, so many carbon compounds, how to remember? In your small brain of 10th standard, it is very difficult for you to number or label or name so many organic compounds. So I will just tell you, page number 123 in your textbook, you have a chart where the common name and the structural formula are given to you. You have to only find the IUPAC name. that chart and whatever IUPAC labeling, naming is given in the textual part, that is under question number 5, that you have to prepare thoroughly for the prelims as well as the board exams. Other examples, yes, surely you can take if you wish to go ahead with organic chemistry or for practice. Different examples from the digest and all you can try out for practice, but the mains which you have to concentrate is the chart on page number 123 and question number 5 textual question. So let us start with the chart on page number 123. Keep the pencils ready with you, so simultaneously you can fill the answers in the chart. First one is ethylene. Structural formula CH2 double bond CH2. Now you can see 2 carbon atoms are there. So the parent alkene is ethane. Double bond. So ethane ANE is replaced by ENE. So the IUPAC name is ethene. We start with the very simpler ones as they are given in the textbook. In the same order we will follow. Next is acetylene CH triple bond. Now here you have to be careful. 2 carbon atoms are there, so ethane, but you can see a triple bond. No functional group is there. So ANE changes to YNE and the name is ethyne. Now we go to slightly difficult ones. Acetic acid CH3 single bond COOH. 2 carbon atoms are there. So the parent alkane is ethane. Now here you can see a functional group carboxylic acid is attached to one of the carbon atoms. So your condensed name is, when carboxylic acid is there, OIC acid. So ethanoic acid. Ethane, E is replaced from ethane, the last E is replaced by the condensed name of the functional group. So ethanoic acid. Similarly, CH3OH. Now OH is the functional group which is the alcoholic group. So parent alkane is methane because only one C is there. So methane. E is replaced by alcoholic group, that is OL is the structural or you can say condensed name. So methanol. Similarly here ethanol. Similarly here CHO. 2 carbon atoms means ethane. CHO is the aldehyde group. The condensed name is AL. So ethanol. See the difference, huh? Here it is ethanol. Here it is ethanol. So all these names depend upon the functional group which is present in them. And hence this group of atoms is called as the functional group because they form a new compound and decide the properties of that particular compound. Next one is CH3COCH3. 1, 2, 3 carbon atoms. So parent alkane is propane. Here you can see CO, ketone, is attached. So ONE attached to the second carbon atom. So propan to ONE. Next is CH3 single bond CO, CH2, CH3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 carbon atoms. So butane. Here you can see CO, that is the ketone group, second carbon atom butane to ONE. Similarly here 1, 2 carbon atoms ethane. Now amine is the functional group. So E is replaced by amine. So ethanamine, ethanamine. Last one CH3, CH, CH2, Cl. Here you can see 3 carbon atoms are there. So the parent alkane is propane. Now as the functional group is chlorine, a halogen, you know it will be added as the prefix. So the condensed name of chlorine is chloro. So chloropropane, and as this functional group is attached to the first carbon atom, you can write it as 1-chloropropane. With this, we complete with the examples of IUPAC nomenclature for carbon compounds. Now we start with the last topic of this chapter, chemical properties of carbon compounds. there are different chemical properties which are shown, which are exhibited by carbon compounds. The first one is combustion or burning. Now, you know that combustion is a chemical property of carbon compounds. Also, in the previous standard, you have studied that carbon in the form of various allotropes. You have studied the different allotropes, diamond, graphite, fullerene. On ignition in presence of oxygen, they undergo combination to emit heat, light and form carbon dioxide. So the first is on ignition in the presence of oxygen, it undergoes combustion to emit heat and light and forms the gas carbon dioxide. Hydrocarbons as well as most of the carbon compounds, they undergo combustion in the presence of oxygen to emit heat and light and form carbon dioxide and water as the common products. Now, we will see different examples of combustion reactions here. Carbon combines with oxygen from the air, forms carbon dioxide plus heat plus light. CH4, you know it is a hydrocarbon, lowest hydrocarbon you can say. Methane reacts with oxygen giving carbon dioxide gas, liberation of water, heat and light. And third one, ethanol, reacts with oxygen in the air forming carbon dioxide, water, heat and light. So what you have seen, that carbon in the form of various allotropes or hydrocarbons, they undergo combustion in presence of oxygen and they give out carbon dioxide, water, heat and light as the main products. Whereas if you see in the case of carbon reacting with oxygen, no water is formed, only carbon dioxide, heat and light are given out. Now, saturated carbon compounds. You have studied about saturated and unsaturated hydrocarbon compounds. So, saturated carbon compounds, they burn with a clean blue flame, while unsaturated carbon compounds burn with a yellow flame and release black colored smoke. Now, if you compare the molecular formula, what you will see is that the proportion of carbon is larger in unsaturated compounds than in saturated compounds. When you compare the molecular formula between both of them, this is your observation, and hence as a result, some unburnt carbon particles are also formed during the combustion of unsaturated compounds. While in the flame, this hot carbon particles, they emit yellow light and hence the flame, it appears yellow in the case of unsaturated carbon compounds. But if oxygen supply is limited, then a yellow flame is obtained by the combustion of saturated compounds also. So here we have seen the first chemical property of carbon compounds, that is combustion. We have seen how carbon as well as hydrocarbons, they react with oxygen forming carbon dioxide as the product, and in the case of hydrocarbons, water, heat and light as the products. Also we have seen that when the saturated carbon compounds, they burn with the blue colored clean flame, whereas in the case of unsaturated hydrocarbons, they burn with a yellow flame. And comparison of molecular formula indicates that the proportion of carbon is larger in unsaturated compounds than in saturated compounds. The next chemical property which we are going to study is oxidation. Oxidation, the word itself tells you, you have seen that carbon compounds, they start burning by combining easily with oxygen in air when it is ignited, when they are ignited in air. And in this process of combustion, all the chemical bonds in the molecule of the carbon compound, they break, and hence carbon dioxide and water are formed as the products. So your first property for oxidation, carbon compounds start burning by combining easily with oxygen, and in the process of combustion, all the chemical bonds in the molecule of carbon compounds, they break, liberating carbon dioxide and water as the products. What you can say or speak in other words, the carbon compounds is completely oxidized during the process of combustion, which you have studied as the first chemical property. Chemical compounds, they can also be used as a source of oxygen. You have studied about oxidants or oxidizing agents in chapter number 3. So, the different examples of oxidizing agents are potassium permanganate, potassium dichromate. They are commonly used as the oxidizing agents. What do we mean by these oxidizing agents? Substances that can give oxygen to other substances, they are called as oxidants or oxidizing agents. An oxidizing agent, it affects on certain functional groups which are present in carbon compounds. Let us take up a small example of ethanol, which is getting oxidized by alkaline potassium permanganate, that is KMnO4, and forms ethanoic acid. Let us see its chemical reaction. Ethanol, that is CH3CH2OH, in the presence of alkaline KMnO4, that is an oxidizing agent, it forms ethanoic acid. So, on adding the pink colored solution of potassium permanganate, which is used as an oxidizing agent, is pink colored in nature. So, when you add this pink colored potassium permanganate solution to ethanol, you will see that the pink color disappears in the beginning. Why? Because potassium permanganate is used up in the oxidation reaction. At a certain point of addition, you will see that oxidation of all the quantity of ethanol in the test tube is complete, and if the addition of this oxidizing agent, that is KMnO4, is continued beyond this point, it is not used up and it becomes excess, and hence the pink color of this excess KMnO4, it does not vanish but stays as it is. This is when you go on adding beyond the limit. This is about the oxidation reaction. Now we move to the next reaction, that is addition reaction. Addition. You know what is addition. You have already studied about combination reaction in chapter number 3. So how you can define an addition reaction? When a carbon compound combines with another compound to form a product that contains all the atoms in both the reactants is called an addition reaction. Combination. When two or more reactants combine to give a single product, it is combination. This also explanation is similar to that. Here, unsaturated compounds, they contain a multiple bond as their functional group. They undergo addition reaction and they form saturated compound as the product. Now here a chart is given in your textbook on page number 125. If you want, you can just fill the answers over there. They have given the names of the different acids and their molecular formula. You have to find the number of carbon-carbon double bonds and you have to mention whether it will decolorize I2, that is iodine, yes or no. So the first one is stearic acid. Here the answer is no double bonds are present, so it will not decolorize I2. So answer is no. Oleic acid, 2 double bonds. Palmitic acid, no double bonds. Linoleic acid, 2 double bonds. So where no double bonds are there, it will not decolorize I2. Where 2 double bonds are there, yes, it will decolorize I2. This can be asked as a table in the exam for 2 marks, half mark for each correct answer. Next is unsaturated compound. You know what are saturated and unsaturated compound. So unsaturated compound, they can also undergo addition reaction with hydrogen to form a saturated compound. Just now I had spoken to you that unsaturated compounds, they contain multiple bond as their functional group and they undergo addition to form a saturated compound. So they can also react with hydrogen, but here it is necessary to use a catalyst like platinum or nickel to carry out this reaction. You know what is a catalyst? A substance, due to its presence, it alters, it fasters the rate of the chemical reaction without causing any disturbance in the reaction. So where this reaction is used? It is used in the hydrogenation of vegetable oils in the presence of nickel catalyst. If you want to see the reaction, you will not get in this chapter. You will get in chapter number 3. I will give you the page number. You can refer the reaction later on. The reaction is in your textbook on page number 33. Reaction number 6. Vegetable oil forming vanaspati ghee is an example of this reaction. So, the molecules of vegetable oil, they contain long and unsaturated carbon chains. Hydrogenation, that is combination with hydrogen, transforms them into saturated chains and hence vanaspati ghee is formed. So, here one thing you have to remember, unsaturated fats containing double bonds are healthy while saturated fats are harmful for our health. The last type of reaction which you are going to study is substitution reaction. This you have studied a part of it last year in chapter number 13, carbon compounds, when you had studied the properties of methane. When you had studied the chemical properties of methane, that time I had told you this in deep you have to study in the next year. So now here we come across substitution reaction. Now you know, as the single bonds between carbon hydrogen and carbon carbon are very strong, the saturated hydrocarbons are not reactive and hence they remain inert in the presence of most of the reagents. But however, the saturated hydrocarbons in the presence of sunlight, they react very rapidly with chlorine gas. And in this reaction, chlorine atoms replace one by one all the hydrogen atoms in the saturated hydrocarbon. As replacement is seen, such a type of reaction is called as substitution reaction. The reaction in which the place of one type of atom or group in a reactant is taken by another atom or group of atoms is called substitution reaction. Chlorination of methane, here you can see all the chemical reactions which show or exhibit substitution reaction. With this we complete with the chemical properties of carbon compounds. Now last two carbon compounds you are going to study in details, that is about ethanol and ethanoic acid. Now first we will see the properties of ethanol. At room temperature, colorless ethanol is in a liquid state having a boiling point of 78 degrees Celsius. Generally, when you speak about ethanol, it is called as alcohol or spirit. Ethanol is soluble in water in all proportions. When aqueous solution of ethanol, that means dissolved in water, that solution of ethanol is tested with litmus paper, it is found to be neutral. No change in the color of litmus paper. And you should know it that consumption of small quantities of dilute ethanol, it shows its effect even though is condemned, still it has remained socially widespread practice. Consumption of alcohol, you know it harms your health in a number of ways. It adversely affects the main physiological processes and your CNS, that is the central nervous system. We have studied last year about central nervous system which comprises of the brain and the spinal cord. So consumption of even a small quantity of pure ethanol, it can be very dangerous. Ethanol being a good solvent, it is used in many medicines such as tincture iodine, cough mixture, and also in many of the tonics which you get supplementary when you suffer from any disease. These are the physical properties of ethanol. Now just we will have a glance at the chemical properties. Now we have learnt about the oxidation reaction of ethanol just now. Two or more reactions of ethanol are we are going to see ahead here. Here ethanol means the functional group OH. It plays an important role in its reactions. So the first reaction which we are going to study is reaction of ethanol with sodium metal. 2 sodium plus, this is ethanol, forms sodium ethoxide as the product with the liberation of hydrogen gas. So here what you can say, in general all the alcohols, because here OH is the functional group which is alcoholic group. So all the alcohols, they react with sodium metal to liberate hydrogen gas and form sodium alkoxide salts. Here it is ethanol, so it will form sodium ethoxide. Next is dehydration reaction. Here when ethanol is heated at a temperature of 170 degrees Celsius with excess amount of concentrated sulfuric acid, one molecule of water is removed from its molecule to form ethane, which is an unsaturated compound. Ethene, it should be ethene, which is an unsaturated compound. So here you can see why dehydration, because one molecule of water is removed. So here you can see ethanol is heated at a temperature of 170 degrees Celsius, excess amount of concentrated H2SO4, you get CH2 double bond CH2 plus water. Water is removed. Here this concentrated sulfuric acid is acting as a dehydrating agent which removes a molecule of water. With this we complete with the chemical properties of ethanol. Now the last topic which is remaining is chemical properties of ethanoic acid and esterification reaction. So our portion we complete with the chapter of carbon compounds, and with that we also complete with the syllabus for science and technology part 1. Now a small topic is remaining, that is chemical properties of ethanoic acid, that we will take up in our next session, and along with that we are going to start with the discussion of textual exercise for this chapter, the textual IUPAC, then the different types of questions, the structural formula. So I request all of you, when you attend the next session, at least go through the textual exercise. Some activities are there in this chapter. That activities I will be discussing offline in the school. So with this we wind up with our today's session. Thank you, dear children.